Welcome home to USA Global TV and Radio, a place where dreams take flight, with authentic storytelling, diverse perspectives and meaningful conversations, where global stories unite and bridges are built beyond all borders. Discover world-class education, entertainment, hope and inspiration. Together, we're building bridges worldwide. Subscribe to our channel, USA Global TV. Download our app, USA Global TV. Be our guest or join our team. Visit usaglobaltv.com. Thanks to our founder and executive producer, Dr. JACALYN KERBECK. Music score by Yeffy Tang from Cloud Road Music. Voiceover artist Mike Porter. Creative direction by Paul Garcia. USA Global TV and Radio. Your home for global connection. All rights reserved. This video and its contents are the exclusive property of USA Global TV and Radio. Unauthorized use, duplication or redistribution in any form is strictly prohibited.
Hey everybody, Monday night. Here we are once again on You as a Whole, Body, Mind, and Soul. I want to welcome everybody. Hope we get some chatters in today, some questions. We're going to be talking about passion, why passion is important for really everything in your life. At least for me it is. The one thing I've said to people many times is, if I don't have passion for something, it's bound to fail. It will fail. There's no doubt it's going to fail. Having passion doesn't necessarily mean that I'm going to be successful, though. I've had passion for a lot of things. I had passion for relationships that didn't work out. I've had passion for business ideas that didn't work out. I've had passion for a documentary that I've started about the Philadelphia Flyers from 1984 to 1988. So far, it hasn't panned out. The passion's there. The drive is there. I had passion to bench press 405 pounds. And now, down into the threes again. So now I got to try to battle back up into that. And I wasn't successful. So passion doesn't equal success. Passion equals the ability and the drive and the desire to want to be successful. It doesn't mean that you're going to be successful, but it's an ingredient in being successful. So we had a snowstorm yesterday in the Philadelphia area. And again, for those of you around the world, this is the Philadelphia Eagles jersey. This is a Ron Jaworski jersey from 1980. How about that? I was 5 years old. And the Eagles went to the Super Bowl in 1980. So I'm wearing it every week until, and I'm washing it, by the way, every week until we see where they go. And yesterday, the Philadelphia Eagles won in a snow bowl. Now, I have passion for that, for the weather. I have a weather page on Facebook. Now, people outside of the Philadelphia area, maybe Washington, Baltimore, Philadelphia, New York, Boston, might want to follow. But it's mainly for this general area, the Northeast of the United States. But if you ever want to join us, I'd be more than happy to have anybody there. But I have passion for that. It's something that's exciting to me. It gets me going. It gets me up in the morning. It gets me, especially when there's a big storm coming and I could try to predict it. Now, it doesn't mean I'm always right. Now, this past storm, I was right a lot, but I was wrong in some places. I didn't get everything right. It wasn't 100%. And that's going to always be that way. But my point is that you have to have it in order for it to work. And passion comes in so many different ways. There's passion for your work. I have passion for my business. If I didn't, it would not be a six-figure business. And it wasn't early on. And I could have given up. I could have said, you know what? I'm not going to make it. But you know what? Even when I was feeling down, when I was having depression and I was suffering, really suffering with depression, anxiety, and I didn't believe in myself at all. I lost all hope, gained tons of weight and fat, and just became 252 pounds, no muscle, after all I had worked for up to that point was just gone, everything. You know, my college years where things were so great and it was so exciting and so much fun. And I really came into my own and became a man there, and really enjoyed being with people and meeting with people. And when I went to QVC, and I was on QVC for 2 years on television in front of millions of people, who would have thought that I would ever get a chance to be on TV in front of millions of people? And now I'm on TV again in this incredible platform. But these are things that, I didn't plan on, but I had a passion for them, and that's why they came true. So I have passion for my work. I have passion for my kids. See, sometimes people mistake passion for, they think of it only in terms of a loving man-woman relationship, that's what passion is. Yeah, that's a form of passion. When you're in love with someone, you need to have passion for them. If you don't, it's probably not going to work. If you have passion for them, yeah, then there's a chance it'll work. It's not a guarantee. It's a chance. But you have to have the passion for that to work. And I was talking to a friend of mine today on Facebook. I don't know if Deanna's watching or not today, but if you are, Deanna, good. Hope you're there. Uh, she said something that really kind of stuck with me today, because I said, I've been out of the gym for 4 weeks, and I was going back today for the first time because I had some back injuries and I hurt my legs. And the reason why I did it was because of passion, because I wanted to push it and push it and push it and push it until I got hurt. And sometimes that's the bad side of passion, is that sometimes you go beyond what you really can do. And I did that. I was leg pressing a really tremendous amount of weight and hurt both my legs and back, sciatica, and all that other stuff. And it was out for 5 weeks. Now, that's where passion kind of backfired on me. And I wound up having to miss the gym for 5 weeks. So I was telling her today that I wanted to get back into the gym, and that I had passion. And she said something to the effect of, well, be careful with the passion. And that made me think, yeah, you do have to be careful with the passion, don't you? It can't be pedal to the floor all the time. Sometimes you got to back off a little bit, know when to back off. So today, I went into the gym thinking I was going to be weak, and I was weaker than I would have normally been. I mean, there's no doubt about it. You miss 4 or 5, actually closer to 5 weeks. You miss 5 weeks, you're not going to be as strong as you were. I mean, it just doesn't work that way. You lose muscle mass, you lose power. But I just didn't let it bother me. I just said, hey, look, it's going to take a couple of weeks to get it back. I'll get it back, and I'll be there tomorrow, and I'll be there the next day, and I'll be there the next day, and I'm going to work on being in that gym, and I'm not going to go beyond what I can't do. I'm just going to do what I can do to the best I can, and that's where the passion is. So when I'm in the gym, I'm not one of those chatters. I'm not one of those people in the gym. And if I go with a friend, I mean, I talk to them. I don't have my earbuds in, and just kind of not pay attention. I'll talk to them. I'll train with them. But I'm not the kind of guy that will go to the gym and grab a latte and or a protein shake or whatever, and then sit with a bunch of people and talk and socialize and stuff like that. I'm a social guy. I really am. I like being social. I like being out with people. I like human contact. But in the gym, it's business to me. I want to be as big and strong as I can be, because that's how I've always been. I'll tell you a story that really two things. This started from childhood. This is not something that just developed as I got older. This has been in me from day one. And I remember the first few times that I noticed it, and one of them was the Philadelphia Flyers, NHL hockey team in Philadelphia. For those, again, around the world who might not know, Philly people, well, everybody knows who the Flyers are, and so do most people in the United States. But they're a hockey team in the NHL, and they had a player in the 70s or late 60s into 1984. His name was Bobby Clark. And Bobby Clark was my hero. I was young. I was first introduced to seeing him on TV at probably 6 years old, and watched him play. And what I loved about Bobby Clark was that he wasn't the biggest guy on the team. He wasn't the strongest guy on the team. He didn't have the best shot. He wasn't the best skater. He wasn't the quickest player. He didn't have a ton of speed, but he worked like an animal. He did not give up. You just could not stop the guy because he wouldn't give up every single time he was out there. And he practiced like that. And I was so enamored by that. That was something that was just so exciting to me. It just drove me crazy to think, I want to be like that. I want everything that I do to be passion. And I want to have the mindset of I'm not going to let anything slow me down or stop me. And I remember being 10 years old when he retired. And they had Bobby Clark night. And Bobby Clark night, there was a 15-minute standing ovation. It was just unbelievable. The fans are standing up, and I was 10 years old, and I being a boy at 10, I didn't want to cry, but I remember fighting it because I was just so moved by what this man had accomplished, and I pictured myself in that position, and I absolutely fell in love with hockey that day and with the Flyers, and I really that's all I wanted to do is just be a Flyer, and I practiced so much, I played so hard, and I remember on the next, that was a Thursday, Bobby Clark night, and the next game was on a Saturday, and they replayed this musical tribute to him. And the song that they played was "Never Gonna Say Goodbye" by Billy Preston. It's from a movie in 1984, and I mean, again, I remember distinctly. I was eating McDonald's for dinner. I remember my parents got us a dinner from McDonald's, and I was sitting watching the replay of that. Again, tears started to fill my eyes, and I was just so absolutely pumped watching that musical tribute. And you see him take a slap shot to the head, and blood pouring down his head, and he just wipes it away and just keeps going. And you see him get high sticked, and you see his nose is probably broken, or at least it's bloody, and he just shakes it off. And scoring a goal from his hip, get knocked down and staying with the puck and shooting the puck and scoring a goal in his hip. I mean, it was just something that was unbelievable to me. It's like, wow, this guy is just, this is passion. This is what it's all about, right? No matter what you do. Now, I had passion to be a hockey player, and man, I tried so hard. I played hard. I worked hard. I practiced. In the summer, I practiced when kids would never play with me. They would say, it's summertime. It's too hot for hockey. It was like, it's never too hot for hockey. And I would go out in the schoolyard with a net that I had to fix like every 2 weeks because I'd shoot shot after shot, slap shots, blasting it off the posts and trying to hit the corners. And the net was falling apart and ripping. And I would skate it to the schoolyard and rollerblades because we didn't have ice back then in South Philadelphia. We had one rink, Rizzo Rink in Philadelphia, and it was an outdoor rink, so it wasn't open in the summer. But I would be the only one there for hours and just hours and hours of doing it. And why did I do it? Was it work? No, it was passion. I loved every second of it. I imagined myself being Bobby Clark. I imagined myself being on the ice, and I imagined the 15-minute standing ovation for me for not just being a good hockey player, but because I gave it everything I possibly could give it. And that just was just incredible to me. That was just so built me up. And then um, reality sets in at some point, and you find out that you're not quite good enough to be an NHL hockey player. And again, passion doesn't equal success. It gave me a chance, but the talent wasn't there. And reality set in about 14. When I went to high school, it was obvious that I was not that good. I was good. I was a good player. I could score, and I had natural talent. But I never had any coaching. Everything was self learned, and I did it on my own. And there are going to be holes when you try to learn things on your own. And I just didn't have what it took to make it. But I'll never look at myself and say, boy, you wasted your time, or it wasn't worth it. It was well worth it because the memories of it are just amazing. I mean, I would have chills while I was skating around with the puck and shooting it and all those things. It was just something that was special to me. And then, after that, it turned into weightlifting. I still loved hockey and I still played hockey, but I know I wasn't going to be a pro hockey player. And I didn't like what I saw in the mirror when I was 14, 15. I was thin and I had no chest definition and little tiny arms, and it just was a real thin kid, and I didn't like it. I wanted to be bigger. I wanted to be stronger. And I went into the gym and I remember bench pressing 85 pounds and getting one rep and thinking, how long is it going to take for me to actually get any strength whatsoever? I mean, 85-pound bench press. I mean, there were probably 70-year-old women that could bench press 65 pounds or more. And here I am, 15-year-old boy, and I'm not able to bench press more than 85 pounds once. And, I had a choice. I could have looked at that and said, you know what, it's too hard. I'm not going to be able to do it. Or I went the opposite route where I bought weights and I worked out at home. And people told me, you're never going to stick with it. Why are you wasting your money? Why would you spend money on something that you're never going to use? You're not going to lift the weights. You're going to get tired of them after a month and you're going to stop. Well, guess what? That didn't happen. I worked out religiously for year after year after year after year, day after day, on my own, by myself, music playing, pumped up, and just gave it everything I had every night. And guess what? 50 years old right now, and I give it everything I got. Now I belong to a gym. I went to the gym today for the first time again in 5 weeks, and I gave everything. Every rep, every set, I should say, goes to failure. I never stop until I hit failure. Never, never. I don't say, well, I got two more left. I'm just gonna, stop now. No, I got two more left. I do the two, and then I think about going for the third. Now, sometimes that gets me in trouble, right? Because it could get me hurt because I try a little too hard. But my point is, the passion's there. If it wasn't, I wouldn't get up and go to the gym. It's not a New Year's resolution when you do it for 30 some years. See, a lot of people have New Year's resolutions, and the reason why they don't stick with them is because the passion's not there. It's not really what they want to do. Now, does the weightlifting make me special? Does it make me a man? Does it make me something? No, it doesn't. It really doesn't. The passion, though, is what I'm proud of. That's the part that really gets me excited. The fact that I have the passion to do it. The fact that I drive myself so hard. Another example I could give you from when I was a kid, and other kids used to laugh at me all the time about stuff like this, but I didn't care. It didn't bother me at all because that's just the way I'm made. But there was the Flyers in '76 before I was born, but I was only a baby. I was just a little over a year old, not even two yet, and I just turned one actually. And they were playing the Russians in 1976, and they made a tape of that. They made a tape of the Russian game, but before the game, Jay Snider, who was the president of the Flyers, Ed Snider was the owner of the Flyers, but Jay Snider was the president and was running the team. He gave a speech. I was telling a friend of mine today, Maria, I was telling her about this. I want to show her because she's a public speaker and she reminds me of what I saw back then. Her passion, her fire. And he spoke into the camera and you could see the burn in his eyes. He was just so revved up. And it was at the time when Russia was really a communist country, and they were treating people badly, especially Jews. And the Snyder family is a Jewish family. And Jay Snider said, something to the effect of, this will never happen on our ice again. They will never come into this building again until they change their ways. And he spoke for maybe like 3 or 4 minutes. And my friends would say, why don't you fast forward past this? Why do we have to listen to this every time? And it was because I love to watch his face. I looked at his face and I watched him and I saw the anger in his eyes, the desire, the passion, the way he was, the way he was uptight, tall, and strong, and it fired me up. It was like, yeah, that's the way you got to be. You got to, and it wasn't a physical thing. It wasn't something that, he wasn't beating up somebody. He was just saying, look, this doesn't happen on our watch. And I don't know, there's something about that was exciting to me. And all my friends would say, the speech it's a speech. You watch it every time. Yeah, because I like the fire. I even wrote Jay a letter about that. We actually met. I'm doing a documentary on the Flyers, and I don't know, will it work? I have no idea. I mean, I hope it does. But it's going to cost about $300,000 to get done. That's not going to be easy to raise. It's going to take a lot of work, and it may never happen. But I got to go to Jay's office, and when I went to Jay Snider's office, I was 30 years old at the time, and I was a little starstruck because, I was still young, 30, and it's going back 20 years. And I went to his office, and I remember meeting him, and the first thing he said to me was, "Are you hungry?" And I said, "No, thanks, I'm good." And I remember him getting some fig Newtons. I remember it's so vivid to me. I can remember him. He grabbed a couple of fig Newtons. He said, "Do you mind if I eat while we talk?" I said, "No, not at all." And he sat with me on the couch and we talked for 2 hours straight. Now here's a guy that's a multimillionaire. And when I say multimillionaire, I mean multimillionaire, hundreds of millions of dollars probably. And he sat with me and took the time with me for 2 hours. And this is a guy that when I was a kid, I watched his burning desire in his eyes. And then afterwards, I wrote him a letter and I said, "I don't know if you remember this, but you cut a speech before that tape of the Russian hockey game. And I want to tell you what that meant to me, even though it really had nothing to do with me. I'm not Jewish. I wasn't really, I was alive at the time, but wasn't really around. I was a year old. It really was a political thing, and it had nothing to do with me personally, but it had everything to do with the fact that I saw the passion, I saw the fire, and that got me going. And I wrote that to him. I said, "You never played a game in the NHL, but you psyched me up just like the players did because I saw that." And he was really appreciative of that. And I was lucky. I got to interview Ed Snider, his father, who started the Flyers. And Ed Snider gave me a half an hour of his time. Now, I was told later that that's unheard of, that Ed Snider would give you a half an hour. If you got 10 minutes with Ed Snider, you were lucky. And everybody called him Mr. Snider. And I remember Jay told me, he said, my dad, they called him Mr. Snider, but he would have just liked it if everybody called him Ed. He said that's what he wanted to be, is Ed, and everybody called him Mr. Snider because he was so revered and such a dynamic person, and did so much for the city of Philadelphia and for the hockey community. He's in the Hockey Hall of Fame. I mean, this is royalty that we're talking about. But that's that's the passion. That's the passion. And that's what turned me on. That's what got me going. Now passion is different in different ways. When I'm in the gym, the passion is the passion for lifting those weights and getting those weights moving and making my body bigger and stronger and harder and becoming, more muscular and more healthy. When I'm working, my passion is getting people to understand things that they don't know yet. I want them to be better than they were when they walked in the room. I want them to say, "Man, he made a difference in my life." Even if it's a small one. I like that. That gives me passion. I like helping ostomy patients. I like the fact that they say, "What's it like? Will I be able to date? Will anybody like me? Will I be disgusting? Will I be this or that?" No, no, it won't stop you from doing anything. Everything that you could do that I've done as a regular person when I didn't have an ostomy, I do now. Passion doesn't change. People say, "Well, what about intimacy? How do you have intimacy if you have a bag? How does that work?" There's a cover for it. It just goes in a pouch that's covered up. It's a belt. That's it. You don't see it. You know. I was again talking to a friend of mine today, Maria, and I said to her, I said, you know, I've been on dating sites since I've been separated and heading for a divorce, and there was a woman who was interested in my profile. So she contacted me and we had a nice conversation. And she looked me up on the internet, found out that I'm an ostomy patient. And she said, I'm not sure that I'm comfortable with this. I said, okay. She said, it might be a little disgusting. That's when I got upset. Not angry, but I was like, well, no, I got angry. I got angry. I didn't tell her that, but yeah, I was pissed because I thought that was a rude thing to say. She said, it might be a little disgusting. So I said, let me show you something. So I showed her a picture of what the bag looks like. And she said, well, what if we get intimate? And I said, well, first of all, who brought up intimacy? I never mentioned that. I just mentioned meeting you. I didn't mention anything about intimacy. But what if we did get intimate? What would happen? And I showed her a picture of what I look like with the pouch on that covers the bag where you can't see it at all. And I said, it's literally invisible. It is gone. There's no contact with it. You don't touch it. You don't feel it. You don't smell it. You don't, nothing. It's gone. And she said, wow, I didn't know it was just that simple. She said, if I knew it was that simple, I probably wouldn't have been as disgusted. And I said, oh, okay. And she said, you know what? Now that I know that, maybe I changed my mind. Maybe it would be a good idea. I know enough about you to know that I would want to go out with you. And my answer to that was, you know what? I know enough about you to know that I don't want to go out with you. And that ended the whole thing. Now, this is a pretty girl. This is a girl that I would be interested in, that I would like, sure, I'd like to take her out. But no, I mean, if you're that shallow, I don't want you. Not worth it to me. So that is passion for myself. I have passion for myself. You have to. That's not conceited. That's what you have. You got to be passionate about yourself. You got to take care of yourself. You got to think highly of yourself. Because if you don't, who's going to do it? Who's going to look at you as a worthwhile human being if you don't look at yourself as a worthwhile human being? And there were too many years that I didn't do it, and I fell down on the job, and they're lost. Those years are gone, and that's a shame. But it's a new day, and whatever happens, happens. I mean, I'm not the kind of person who um, lays down and just dies. I'm gonna keep fighting, and I'm fighting for other things too. I'm fighting for with my charity to save people from having to go through the surgery that I went through, and save people from having to have colitis for years. And I almost had colon cancer. It was close, very close. In fact, probably would have developed within a year or two. And it didn't, because I made the decision that I'm not going to let a surgery that saves my life stop my life. I have ostomy patients call me sometimes because I work with Rolf Benirschke, who's was a kicker in the NFL. Rolf and I have become very good friends, almost like brothers. And he's a bit older than me. He's in his late 60s, but um, he kicked in the NFL for 7 years with the bag, and he's got a passion for helping ostomy patients. In fact, this week I'm helping him roll out a new initiative to help ostomy patients through the whole thing, through pre-surgery and post-surgery. But even before that, ostomy patients call me, and sometimes they're crying, and they're saying, no one's going to ever love me. Nobody's ever going to love me. Nobody's ever going to want to be with me because I'm disgusting, or I'll be disgusting because I'm going to have that surgery. I said, you really think so? You really think that's what's going to happen? And I remember I was joking around with one of the guys, because he was like a 22-year-old, I think, and he said something to me like, my stool is going to smell. And I said to him, I hate to break the news to you. I don't know if you know this. It already does. It already does. You and everybody else's. You're not the only one. I said, so do me a favor. Go to the bathroom, since you don't have the bag yet. Walk away from the bathroom for 10 minutes. Walk back into the bathroom and see if you think the smell is wonderful. And he laughed, and he did it. And he said, no, it's horrible. He said, yeah, because you know what it smells. It doesn't change just because you have the bag. It doesn't mean that it smells. So, I told him, you're not going to have to worry about intimacy because number one, it doesn't get involved in intimacy. It's blocked. It's in a pouch that's covered up. It's like the person you are now, you have a rectum that is exposed during intimacy. Well, it's awfully close to where you are if you're in an intimate situation. So it's not that much different. So I said, you could either let the fears run your life, or you could just say, look, I'm gonna do whatever. I'm gonna see what happens. Will some women run? Sure. Do you want them anyway? If they're gonna run? No, you don't need them. There you go. That's having passion for yourself and not being afraid of yourself. It's not always easy to do. Does it run your mind sometimes that somebody like it happened to me? I mean, just recently, that, like I said, the story I just told, that girl was or woman was ready to say, oh no, I can't. You have a bag. You're out. And then she saw more about it, and then said, oh, it really isn't that big of a deal. It's not nowhere near what I thought it was. And then she changed her mind. Well, it's too late at that point. It's for me. If somebody's that shallow, I don't need it. So, but passion for my kids. I have passion for my kids. Like at Christmas time, I told the story that watching them look for gifts, and now that they're older, and they go out and they look for their own gifts, and they pick things out. Even though they're 18 and 13, I almost get to the point where I'm going to cry because I have such a passion for their joy, to see their excitement, to see their eyes light up when they see things that they like. It's just a feeling that comes over you that is just dynamic. It's a passion. It's a drive. It's an excitement. Now it's a different excitement than the gym. It's a different excitement than at work. It's a different excitement in a romantic relationship. They're all different, but they all require passion. And without it, you're doomed. It's not going to work. That's what it has to be. Now, again, I reiterate, it doesn't mean that you're always going to be successful. Unfortunately, I've had relationships where I had passion and either lost it or the other person lost it, and it ended. It happens. It doesn't feel good. It's not something that you look back and say, wow, that's great. That was a wonderful moment in my life. It's terrible. It hurts. But does that mean that you give up on passion totally and just give up and quit and say, I'm not going to do it anymore. I might get hurt again. No, no, you got to live your life. You got to live your life. I'm only 50. I hope I have a lot of time left. And I want that to be fun time. I want that to be time that I'm excited. I want that to be time where my business grows. I want that to be time where I meet somebody that I really love and I really get to hold and to cuddle with on the couch on cold nights, and on summer days go out on the beach, and in the fall sit outside in the leaves and things like that. That's passion. That's excitement. I always said, this is more on the romantic side, but there were the two most romantic nights of my life actually didn't involve sex at all. I know that sounds weird to most guys. They're like, what's wrong with you? You gotta close the deal. No, that's not what I'm about. What was romantic about it was the connection of hearts and souls, was the connection that I made with those women at that time, and that felt good, and there was passion there. And sex without passion, two dogs can have sex, lions can have sex, but with no passion, is it really worth it? I mean, isn't that the key? Isn't that what everybody's looking for? I know it is for me. That's that. It's every aspect of my life, whether it's romantic, whether it's my kids, whether it's my work, whether it's in the gym, whether it's my family, like my parents, my brother and sister, my friends. There's a passion there. Ostomy patients, people with colitis and Crohn's, people with other diseases, people with mental illness that come to me and say, "Hey, I'm struggling. Can you help me? Can you do something?" I have a passion for it. It drives me. It gets me going. It's not woe is me. I want to change the world. Every one of us has the ability to change the world. You got to decide how you're going to do it. Now, you could say, no, I can't. It's too hard. I'm not going to be able to do it. I'm just me. And there's nothing that can be done. Or you could say, you know what? It's in me. I just have to find a way to find the outlet. And I look for it. And sometimes I find it, like through my charity, or I find it through the way I am with my kids or my family. And someday I'll find it in a romantic relationship again. And it's going to be great. It's going to be exciting. And it's going to be something that's going to, make me happy and help me get up in the morning. Like right now, I feel great. I don't feel depressed. I don't feel sad. I don't feel down. I don't feel out of it. And look, I've had a rough couple months. That hasn't been easy, especially, like I've said on other shows, not only did I get separated and heading for the end right now, close to the end of the divorce, but also lost my uncle within a couple of days of getting separated. He died suddenly of a heart attack, and we were really close. That was a jolt. That hurt. And then to have a friend, very very close friend, tell me that he's got a debilitating degenerative disease that is eventually going to take him away. A couple days later, it was like, okay, I got three massive punches to the face in a matter of a couple weeks. But damn it, I'm not going to go back to woe is me, and I'll cry and I'll give myself time to mourn. And as Raul says, you could go to the pity house if you want to for a little while, but you just can't move in. You can't move in. You could feel down. I'm not telling you that I'm up all the time. I'm not telling you that I'm always feeling great. But now I don't give myself permission to stay there. I get out. So take an hour or two. And if you have to mourn, mourn. If you have to cry, cry. If you have to do whatever, if you have to punch the heavy bag, punch the heavy bag, or punch your pillow, whatever. But let it go after a while. Get out of the pity house. Move out. Because if you can't make camp there, that's where you'll stay. And I did that for a few years, and I'll never do it again. It'll never happen again. I can promise you that. And I hope who's ever watching this, these words matter to you, because I'm no different than anybody else. I'm not unique. This isn't everybody. This is not something that's a special gift. It's everybody's gift. But you got to decide whether you're going to open the package or not. See, I'm deciding to open the package. You got to decide whether you're going to open the package or not. So, as before we go to our final end here and show the highlights of the Checkmates game, I just want you to know that you got to keep it in check. You just can't do whatever you want to do. I'm not giving you permission to just do whatever. What I am telling you to do is whatever you do it with passion. Because if you don't do it. It's not worth it. It's not worth it. You can't make somebody fall in love with you. If you have passion for someone and they don't have passion for you, you're out of luck. It's just the way it is. If you both have passion for each other, that's great. Or if somebody has passion for you and you don't have passion for them, it's sad, but it is what it is. You can't make it. It's not manufactured. It either happens or it doesn't happen. If you love your work, you have passion for it, you either love it or you don't. You know, hopefully if you're a parent, you have passion for your kids. You would do anything for your kids. That's the way it should be. If not, you got to rethink how you are as a parent. So I'll end you tonight with that thought, that having passion is the key to success. It doesn't mean success. It's a key to success. It opens the door. Then you got to walk in the door and get the job done. And that's when you'll be successful. Or if you're not, you gave it your best shot. All right. So before we go, I know we're at the 40-minute mark. We're going to just talk about the charity game coming up August 23rd, 2025. We got the Checkmates charity game. It's going to be the NHL charity game. We have so many great players coming down to play. We got Mark Recchi. We got Brian Propp. We have, there's the website from years past. Who else do we have? Doug Crossman. We have possibly Rod Brindamore. We're working on Rod Brindamore. Kevin Dineen. You can see the names there. Todd Fedoruk, the Fridge, if you remember from the 2000s. Doug Crossman from my youth. Chris Terrian, who's become a friend of mine. And then Joe Conklin's going to show up and do a comedy skit. Lauren Hart's going to sing. Rolf Benershko will be there. NHL legend Kerry Fraser should be in the Hall of Fame as an NHL referee. He'll be there. Ed Bernstein, one of the greatest lawyers to ever come out of Philadelphia, is a Nevada icon. He has the longest running talk show in Nevada history. And won 2 of the top lawsuits in Nevada history. His daughter, unfortunately, Dana, lost her life to Crohn's disease. And that's why we're calling it the Dana Memorial NHL Charity Celebrity Game. So check us out, www.checkmatescharity.com. Let's watch this little video on the game from the past, and then we'll wrap things up.
I just want to tell you how thankful I am that you came out tonight and helped us out on a very special evening. Crohn's and colitis are terrible diseases, and they affect a lot of people, not only in the Delaware Valley, but all over the world. And hopefully we can find a cure someday.
Nolan here with you at the Checkmates versus the Flyers alumni. We had a great time this afternoon. Game was close, and we're all here for Checkmates Charities, which is the real reason that everybody's here, not only the players, but all the fans that were here. It was a great day, and we're really happy to be here.
It was fun to be out here at Northeast Skate Zone because the Checos were a pretty good team, and so we had a lot of fun with the charity.
And it was good because they took it easy on us old guys. So we had a good time. So anytime you can do something for charity, and I know a couple guys on the other team, and just to be on the rink, we all go have fun.
Good times go. I'm either gone in an instant or here to the bitter end. I never know what I got.
I want to thank my family for all that they did to help me get through this, and there's a lot of planning that gets done. It has to get done. I want to thank Nick's Roast Beef and Common Avenue for all they've done. Dr. Prieto for saving my life and finding the disease and treating me for so long. And the Flyers organization for all they do to help us raise money every year. So thank you, everybody. I appreciate it.
So are you ready to go? Are you going to come join us and help people? And by the way, I played in that game. That was 9 months after that major surgery. So when people tell me, no, you can't, yeah, you can. And that's what you have to believe. Have passion in everything you do. Have passion in you. All right, everybody. Thanks for joining us this week. I will see you next week. Hopefully next week I'll be telling you that the Eagles are in the Super Bowl and going to take the Super Bowl for the second time in my lifetime, which would be nice. All right, everybody. Thanks for joining us. We will see you next time.
In a world full of noise, misunderstandings, and interruptions, master the art of listening with Dr. JACALYN KERBECK. Dr. JACALYN KERBECK is the listening mentor of USA Global TV and Radio and the Amazon #1 best-selling author of Mastering the Power of Elevated Listening. Elevate your listening. Elevate your life. Join a global learning experience in person or via Zoom. Reserve your spot today. usaglobaltv.com/book-your-session or drjacalyn.thinkific.com. Join Dr. KERBECK's listening courses or hire her to unlock deeper connections and authentic conversations.